What's up, itchy nipples? I'm back here again with the Hapstone R2 guided sharpening system. Yes, I did have a previous video up, and yes, I did take it down. Turns out that my main concern with the system was actually a pretty simple fix. I contacted Gridomatic. Those guys put their best scientific minds in a room. They locked them in there. Those guys went back to the drawing board. They created a whole new branch of mathematics. It was pretty epic, guys. Think Apollo 13, only on a grander scale, right? They emailed me up and they said, hey, did you try tightening the two screws on the bottom of the mount, which I will show you now? These two. And I replied, no. Proving once and for all that truly I am an idiot. All right, in my defense, they were already pretty tight. They just needed extra torquing down, and that did the trick. And I will prove that to you now. It is stable as a rock. So no more wobble, guys. No more wobble. Making this system one of the top systems out there, especially at its price point. It has features that will outperform the more expensive guys, and it has some things that I like because it's cheaper, right? Take the TS Prof K03, which is an amazing system. I am not knocking it in any way, but it was just a little bit too big, too bulky, too much for me. A little bit more overbuilt. I don't really need that. I wanted something a little lighter, simpler. My workflow is very important to me because I do a lot of this stuff as a hobby. This is my job. I have a career. I just do this for fun, guys, because I am one of the cool kids, and that's what cool kids do on a Saturday night: sharpen knives. So I do love guided sharpening systems because I do mess with a lot of higher end steels, and I'm not going to sit there. I'll be damned, and I'm going to sit there with a bench stone until I'm old and gray. So I get a diamond stone, I put it in the Hapstone or the Blitz 360, and I'm good to go. That was my methodology behind that. So I don't really want to do a review. I like to talk about it. I'm going to give you guys some points that I'd like to make against the Blitz 360 and the KME. Those are all really popular systems right now, with the Blitz 360 looking like a frickin' Terminator. It's going to kill that edge. Terminate that edge. All right, so the main selling point for me is this micro adjuster with the Hapstone. Well, I guess not the main. Yeah, no. It is the main selling point for me. The micro adjuster, if it didn't have the micro adjuster, I probably really wouldn't be looking at the Hapstone, because it would be a lot like the KME, where you're sitting there sliding up and down to get your angle, and that gets tedious. It can be done. I did it for years. You will get an amazing edge on the KME. I don't want to knock it. However, if you want to take your sharpening game to the next level, you're going to start thinking about precision, and that's where this micro adjuster comes in. If you watch my Blitz 360 video, you know I make a big deal about that micro adjuster that they have on there. They like to call it their stone thickness compensator. To me, it is not a stone thickness compensator, but whatever. It works great as a micro adjuster, and that's where I want to make a good point. With the Hapstone and the Blitz, you're getting that ability to micro adjust. All right, so if you zoom in with your loop, you check out your edge and you say, hey, I need a little bit more, angle up. I'm trying to make it simple. Angle up. I need to go from 17 degrees to 17.10 degrees. You can do that with the micro adjuster. Now, it's a lot easier to do it with the Blitz 360 because it clicks, click, 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 and you're good to go. With this micro adjuster, you can learn how to use it almost like that with quarter turn. So you quarter turn, quarter turn, quarter turn. So you got 3 quarter turns, right? And then you can go back down. Also, you can use this as a stone thickness compensator, which works a hell of a lot better than the Blitz 360. You could just lock this down, lock that down, and then use this as a stone thickness compensator. If you don't know how to use that, or don't know what I'm talking about, I'm going to make some more videos. Don't worry, guys. So the 5 or 10 people that actually watch my videos will be well informed. The ball bearing system and the parking hook for me is a huge deal. I'm going to see if I can get this on camera. Probably not, but I'll try. You hear that? Oh, it is so smooth. So smooth. I love the feedback I get with the ball bearing system, or I guess the lack thereof. It is so smooth that it requires very little user input. The KME and the Blitz 360, you will have more actual feedback, but when it comes to those light strokes, you're going to have to lift up the weight with your own hand. Not a big deal, guys. You know, I'm being nitpicky here because that's what I do. So it's not a big deal. I just enjoy the fact that I don't have to think about it as much with the Hapstone R2. All right. What's the stone holder? It's a lot easier to use a stone holder with the Hapstone R2 than it is with the Blitz. With you got this thumb screw here, you know, a lot less small hardware. In fact, I don't see any small hardware that's you're likely to lose. You can lose these little thumb screws, but it's a hell of a lot harder to strip these or lose them than the Blitz 360. So that's one point to keep in mind. I love these thumb screws. It makes everything working so much smoother. And then you got this huge, wooden handle here. That's awesome. The KME doesn't have that, and the Blitz 360 has a small, tiny little ball. I don't know. Some of these design choices, it just baffles me. Like, did they not use it when they were creating this, when they were designing it? They get so far into it, and someone just forgets to use it right before you ship it out. All right, so the main thing for me was this modularity with the Hapstone. You get a lot more for your money because it's modular. So if you are sharpening for money, or even if you're not, let's say you just like sharpening a lot, you can take the clamp system off, you can put an unclamp system, or you can put your scissor sharpening system, and God knows what else they're going to create in the future. But that's really cool. You can't do that with the Blitz. It's a one-trick pony. Same thing with the KME. It's a one-trick pony. But the tricks that they perform are awesome. It can't knock it. They sharpen knives very well. I just like the fact that, with the Hapstone, you get a few more options. The clamps themselves are pretty good. The springs, they make a big deal about it. I actually would probably recommend going with the cheaper ones. They look more like the Blitz. I forgot what they call it. The standard? No, I think this is the standard. The classic. The basic. I think it's the basic Hapstone, which is a lot cheaper. It's like $200. So between the Hapstone basic and the KME, I'm going to recommend the Hapstone, man. You got the ball bearing system, you got the parking hook, you got the much better wooden handle, you got the micro adjustment, you got the modularity, you got the better clamps that can do larger knives. I don't see a reason to go with the KME, and the fact that you can use 6-inch stones versus 4-inch stones, spend the extra $20, guys. Get the Hapstone. I just don't, I love the KME. It did great while I had it, and there was very few options when I first started doing guided sharpening systems. There was very few options, and you got a lot more options now. And as far as the $200 to $300 range goes, the Hapstone is really hard to beat, guys. They give you a lot of value for your money. The Blitz 360, when you start getting into the $300 range between the Blitz 360 and the Hapstone, here's the thing that you have to keep in mind. The Hapstone gives you much better workflow. You got your parking hook, you got your ball bearing system, much better workflow, and you get your micro adjuster. All right, keep that in mind because I'm going to come back to that. With the Blitz 360, it is far more precise. I don't want to say more precise. It is as precise or more precise in that you got you see, it's so much easier to get your precision is built into the machine. It's so much easier to get your angle and to find those little tiny micro adjustments. It is so much easier to do it. But it can be done with the Hapstone. It's just not as easy. You're going to be playing the KME game where you're sliding up and down more or less, and then you're going to be, trying to get your micro adjustment. So the workflow of the Hapstone is far superior than the Blitz 360. However, the Blitz 360 beats it in precision, or the ease of use of the precision part of this tool. Now, another thing that I want you to keep in mind is that with the Blitz, am I on camera here? I get so into it, I realize I did a whole video off camera. With the Blitz 360, when you take your angle, where's my angle cube? Right here. You take your angle, you put it right here. You notice that you are amongst the blade, all right? So when you take your angle, you're taking your angle right where your blade is at, as opposed to where the Hapstone and the KME and just about every other clamp system, I want to say, yeah, even the TF Prof. I mean, you put your stone, see if I get this on camera, you put your knife here, and you put your stone holder, and then you put your angle on top. So you're really far away from the blade. Does that make a difference? Golly, I'm going to catch a lot of flack for this. I want to say yes. And here's my reasoning behind that. I don't know. I cannot prove that. All right. I cannot prove that. I have no proof. But what I do have is anecdotal evidence. So I sharpened a knife on the Hapstone. I set it to 17 degrees. And right when I don't want to say when I was done with it, but more or less when I was done with it, when I was on my polishing stones, I moved it over to the Blitz 360. I wanted to see if I can find my edge again. I wanted to see my repeatability. You know, I just wanted to, I was playing with it, guys. I told you, I geek out on this stuff. So I put it on the Blitz 360, and sure enough, after I, did my marker, and I was able to hit every part of the blade, took my angle, and sure enough, my angle was actually 18.10 degrees. So forget about the 10, let's just say 18 degrees. So that means I was 1 degree higher than where I thought with the Hapstone. So if you set your angle to 17 degrees, it will more likely be 18 degrees. Now that I know that, it's not a big deal. I just know whatever I set it to, it's just 1 degree higher. So, now I know if I want a 17 degree edge, I will just set it to 16 degrees. I'm going to need a little bit more playing with that in order for me to really lock that down and say, yep, that's exactly what's going on. But that is what I found with one knife that I was playing with last night. All right, so for you guys that have these systems, that love playing with it, that's a little challenge for you. Get in there and see if I'm right, or prove me wrong. All right, so I've done enough talking for tonight. Do I recommend the Hapstone? Yes, I absolutely do. You get a lot of value for your money. You get the modularity. I sound like a salesman. I sound like I'm not making any money off these things, guys. Trust me, I am like $600-700 in the hole here. All right, I will show you the receipts. So I just really get into it. So yes, I do recommend the Hapstone R2. I think it's a great system. These Russians, man, they are invading the knife sharpening world with some pretty awesome stuff. All right, the the Wicked Edge is still considered amongst the king, amongst the best. But there's a lot of people that it's actually used the Wicked Edge, and they don't agree. They're looking at that TS Prof, and with this TS Prof precision, I don't know, man. I think the KME or the Wicked Edge better watch out. The KME could compete very well if they just lower the price a little bit, or update their device. It's about that time, right? It needs a few little updates. And I you know what? I probably make a KME video and talk about what I think they could do to make this better. But there is no more wobble, and that was the main thing. That was the only reason that I would not recommend the Hapstone, but that's been fixed, so no worries about that. Other than that, God, I can't imagine why you wouldn't like this system. Let me know. Do you guys have the R1? How does it compare? What do y'all think? I do these videos to spur discussion because I love discussing this stuff, guys. I love talking about it. I'm not making any money off here, so give me that. Give me some conversation, bro. Other than that, I will catch you on the next video.